The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
The Cryptid Files is a weekly discussion and debate covering all things cryptid. Mysterious and terrifying creatures are our passion. Join us each week as we bring you groundbreaking interviews and accounts, info from research in the field, as well as data and experiences of our own. From the widely known cryptids to the most strange and obscure, we want to believe. Do you?
Lochness in Scotland, a place of secrets and legend. Hidden in the murky depths lies a mystery unsolved for 1,500 years. Is this the home of the Lochness Monster?
There's something in Loch Ness that shouldn't be there.
Loch Ness locals tell us about their sightings of Nessie.
We were scared, really scared, because we just didn't know what it was.
And welcome to the Cryptid Files.
Welcome, everyone.
I hope everyone is enjoying their weekend so far.
It's been a hot one.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Got a good week as well.
Yep.
We've been studying the Lochness Monster. Gotta be honest with you, folks, there's not a lot to study.
Yeah, because science has actually got involved.
Yes, but we'll go over that. But, so lake monsters, which, hey, there are a lot of lake monsters.
Yep.
A lot of supposed lake monsters all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Monsters in lakes.
Yep.
It's like every lake has a monster.
Just about, yeah. Even where I'm from where I am from.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
And then even in Georgia.
Yeah, evidently. Hey, there's even a giant squid or an octopus.
Octopus.
In Oklahoma.
Giant octopus in the OK.
Giant octopus.
No. Giant killer octopus.
In Oklahoma.
That's obviously killed people.
How did it get there?
How did it kill people?
But how did it get there? That's my ultimate question. How did it get there?
I don't know, because there ain't no ocean in Oklahoma.
That's what I'm saying. They're landlocked.
It's that place where they're trying to sell you an oceanfront property.
Yeah.
Over there. That's where that lake monster, that giant octopus, killer octopus.
Yeah.
Because it is giant.
Giant killer.
And it is killer.
Octopus.
He came a long way.
Evidently, he must have taken a plane to get out there.
I mean, that's a claim to
Hang on
fame.
1 second, my phone's ringing again.
You just do your thing. I got this for a moment. So we're going to talk about the Loch Ness Monster, or as the people over there in Scotland pronounce it. It is the Loch Ness Monster. The Loch. I'm not exactly sure how you do that. Anyway, I'm not really good at that. I'm not going to do that. But so, this Loch Ness Monster, this has been around for, reports of this for over 1,000 years, of people seeing this monster in the lake, in the loch. Now, the loch over at Ness, or Loch Ness, is 22 miles long and 1.5 miles wide in most parts. And it's extremely deep. We're talking, in some places, 700 to 800 feet deep. And it may even be deeper than that in some places. So, this ain't no baby lake. This is a big lake. From what I understand, it does not have an inlet or outlet into the ocean. So, it used to, but evidently it doesn't now. So, the idea of a monster coming in from the ocean, maybe not. I don't know. But the Loch Ness Monster, we all know, has, there have been images of it. People have taken pictures, supposed pictures of it. Now, the first pictures that surfaced that everybody knows about, or the few, are pictures of a black figure that looks like something akin to a plesiosaur, and it's sort of grainy. I think it was taken in the 1930s, and it's just not a good picture. Well, it was debunked, and I think a lot of people know that, but it was definitely debunked, and it was a children's boat, I think, with some sort of cardboard cutout on top. So it's definitely not a picture of a lake monster. But I don't know if that's where the image of a plesiosaur comes from as far as the Loch Ness Monster itself. But so it's dinosaur-like. It has flippers, a long neck, and the whole 9 yards. But there are varying reports now of the image or what it looks like, because some people say it looks like a giant eel sort of thing.
Sorry, everybody. I'm back.
That's okay.
I had some paranormal Bigfoot ghost hunting business to attend to.
It was a must.
Yeah, this one is a must because, I don't know, we'll get into it
Yeah, we will.
on the second half.
I have a feeling that the Loch Ness Monster info is not going to be... But anyway, so we've already gone over...
Well, do you know what, though? People look to us on the show
Yes.
to give them
And we're giving
our
them
findings.
We're giving them our findings.
I mean, we could just sit here and go, Loch Ness Monster. Awesome story, but it's not real. All right, everybody, have a great night. Thank you for joining us on the Cryptid Files, and that's the end of the show.
Okay, as you're doing that, I'm trying to roll my tongue.
Why are we
I can
rolling our
curl it.
tongue?
I can. Matt said to, and
Roll.
he's our fan, so I'm going to roll my tongue. Oh God, we're not right.
No, we're not right in the head. That's for damn sure.
Yes.
So,
right.
Loch Ness Monster.
So we've gone over the size of the loch.
Yep.
We've gone over what the loch. First of all, I tried to say the Loch Ness Monster with the Scottish accent, and I said loch.
Ness?
Loch.
Well, loch is actually lake.
Loch. How do they say it?
Loch.
How do they say it?
Loch. Loch.
No, they don't.
Loch.
Loch.
All
Words
right.
is okay. Okay, we've lost it already.
Yeah.
We are only a few minutes into this, and we've already lost
All right.
it.
Well, I mean, I got some info on Wikipedia.
Okay,
'cause I'm
let's
famous.
go over Loch Ness 411. Loch.
All right. So, Loch. We quit it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anaphylactic.
Loch Ness.
Okay. Loch. Look, it's got an X there.
Just cut the shit, will you?
It's got an X. Looks.
Looks. It's looks lass.
He does it better than I do. All right. Loch Ness 411.
So
Go.
Loch Ness is a large, deep freshwater loch in the Scottish Highlands, extending for approximately 37 kilometers, 23 miles, southwest of Inverness. I don't know if that's like Uranus or something.
Inverness.
Whatever. Its surface is 16 meters, 52 feet above sea level. Loch Ness is best known for the alleged sightings of the cryptozoological Loch Ness Monster. You like that?
Loch Ness Monster.
Screw rolling your tongue. Of course, the next few words I probably won't be able to say. Also known affectionately as Nessie. It is connected at the southern end by the river Oich.
That's what it's. Oh. I just got what Matt was talking about. He said when you're saying Loch Ness Monster to roll your tongue. No, this is bad. Okay.
In a section of the, whatever that word, Caledonian
That's
Canal of Loch Oich. Thanks, Matt. At the northern end, there's something narrows, which opens up to the loch, whatever.
Dodge for it.
Yeah, which feeds the River Ness and further section of the Canal of Inverness, ultimately leading to the North Sea via the Moray Firth. What is up with this?
I bet they never have like clogged throats over there. Because they're always unclogged. Ew.
It's one of the series of interconnected murky bodies of water in Scotland. Its water visibility is exceptionally low due to the high peat content in the surrounding soil. There's a lot of peats. Peat.
It's from my favorite movie.
Mm-hmm. So that's the Loch Ness. So
yeah, so that's the Loch Ness. But what about the?
I'm working on it.
Lochness Monster.
Jesus.
So fascinating.
Let's go back to Wikipedia. So the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, is a cryptozoological Scottish folklore that is said to inhabit the Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. I'm not even close, am I?
You're closer than me.
A wee bit, lass, a wee bit.
Much better than I am.
It's often described as a large, long-necked and with one or more humps.
Is it a creature? Oh, that was pretty good.
Is it hump day? Guess what day it is?
It's hump day.
Guess what day it is? Humps protruding from the water. Popular interest and belief in the creature have varied since it was brought to the worldwide attention in 1933. Evidence of its existence is
anecdotal.
Thank you. With a number of disputed photographs and sonar readings, the scientific community regards the Loch Ness Monster as a phenomenon without biological bias, explaining sightings as hoaxes, wishful thinking, and the misidentification of mundane objects.
Mundane objects.
Mundane objects.
It's a creature.
Yeah, fuck Carmel. I saw I had to do it. I love that dude.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, we're not really taking this one too seriously, as you can tell.
Bad us.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. Scientists have actually stepped in and went and took how many samples?
Do we want to bring this up now?
I mean, I don't know how far are we into the show.
See, here's my issue. Okay,
Not yet.
We could bring it up now.
Yet.
We could bring it up now.
Not yet.
Poor Matt.
Yeah, I mean, to the people in Scotland and stuff, I really apologize. I'm sure you guys make fun of us Yanks all the time, but I'm just having a little fun. I'm trying my hand at the Scottish accent. I do have an Irish heritage, if that does get me off in any way, but I don't think it does.
It's not helping.
No, I'm just going to shut up now and apologize.
But here's my issue with bringing
my
this up
offenses
now.
are my own, and they have nothing to do with Paranormal Buzz Radio.
No. So, we do speak about all things cryptid.
Yes.
All things positive, all things negative, all things good, all things bad, all things real, all things not so real.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're bringing you information to the best of our ability.
Yes.
And to the best of our knowledge. And we are being upfront also to the best of our ability, the best of our knowledge. Because that's what we do.
Right.
That's what we're doing here. So it might seem like we're a little flippant about this one. And it's not that look, this was one of the things that fueled my passion for paranormal when I was a kid. And I started looking this stuff up and checking out the books in the library in that little section that nobody ever went to. I did that. And one of my interesting, focuses was the Loch Ness Monster. In fact, I actually got a friend who would go over to visit their family bring me a rock from the Loch.
Very nice.
So I was like, wow.
Thanks, Nessie, Matt, for that, by the way. She's not going to let go of that all night.
Nessie could have touched the rock, I was all excited. But as my interest in the cryptid field has grown, and I've done so much research on so many things, one of the things that I have not researched much in the past several years is the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah. Simply
because, now that I haven't done any research, but not much, simply because there is not much research to be done. You don't find sightings. You don't find information. You don't. And the reason being is there's not much there's really nothing to support this idea.
Right.
There are old photos, which we know have been hoaxed at this point.
Yes.
There are a very small handful of accounts, a very small handful. And for the fact that 150,000 or more people a year vacation and go to this lake, this loch,
Mm-hmm.
and many of them are drawn because of the idea of a monster. And nothing is seen that is concrete and viable. It makes you think. And not to mention that there have been many pictures and videos that surfaced and are circulating around the internet about something in the water. But these things they can all be easily explained away. And there's nothing of a creature sticking its big long neck up.
Yeah.
Or, there are pictures and videos of these things kind of, undulating through the water and floating down, and you see these wakes that go over the lake. But this does not constitute a lake monster.
No. So, but I do have some things I've found. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Pizza's coming back to haunt me. The first modern discussion of a sighting of a strange creature in the loch may have been in the 1870s, when Mackenzie claimed to have seen something wriggling and churning up in the water. This account was not published until 1934. Like 70 years later. However, research indicates that several newspapers did publish items about a creature in the loch well before 1934. The best known article that first attracted a great deal of attention about a creature was published on May 2nd, 1933 in the Inverness Courier. And I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong. About a large beast or whale-like fish. The article by Alex Campbell, water bailiff for Loch Ness and part-time journalist, discussed a sighting by Addie McKay of an enormous creature with the body of a whale rolling in the water. The loch the water in the loch. Well, she and her husband John, not me, were driving on A82 on April 15th, 1933. The word monster was reportedly applied for the first time in Campbell's article, although some reports claim that it was coined by editor Evan Barron.
Interesting. So the reports that I have read, which have been a couple, you start to realize a pattern that has taken place even over all these years with this. The idea that a monster is in the lake has kind of grown and surged into a worldwide phenomenon. But the reports of something being seen again like this, something wriggling and undulating through the water, that's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And really there's nowhere that you see any claim to support some sort of plesiosaur-like animal. And this is not even talking about scientific fact. This is just talking about the reports themselves.
They're even, I'm reading just as you're talking, the Courier in 2017 is still bringing up the reports from 1933.
Because there's nothing else to go on.
Right.
And they are using this primarily to fuel the flames of the loch to get people to come visit. It's a huge tourist attraction, of course, and their claim to fame is the monster.
So I got another one I want to read real quick. On August 4th, 1933, the Courier published a report of another alleged sighting. This one was claimed by Londoner George Spicer, the head of a firm of tailors. Several weeks earlier, while they were driving around the loch, he and his wife saw the nearest approaching to a dragon or prehistoric animal that I have ever seen in my life, he says, trundling across the road toward the loch with an animal in its mouth. He described it as having a long neck which moved up and down in manner of a scenic railway. I don't know what that has to do with it.
No idea.
He said the body was fairly big with a high back, but if there were any feet, they must have been on the webbed kind. And as for a tail, I cannot say, as it moved so rapidly and when we got to the spot, it had probably disappeared into the loch. Letters began appearing in the courier, often anonymously claiming land or water sightings by the writer, their family or acquaintances, or remembered stories. The accounts reached the media, which described a monster fish, sea serpent, or dragon, and eventually settled on the Loch Ness Monster.
Interesting. So this is when the surge, the initial surge had occurred. Is when
in
this
the
guy came up.
1933.
Yeah, so in the 1930s. It's interesting that there was this sudden surge, and probably because it kind of took on... Because the loch, if you've ever seen pictures or videos, it's an eerie-looking body of water.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me that this creature doesn't really say anything about really any size.
A whale. But they don't specify what whale.
And whales they're
Right.
vastly different. Yeah. And it also, I mean, is this thing, if it had feet, they were flippers or some webbed kind?
I'm finding a lot of, as you're talking, I'm reading, I'm finding a lot of webbed and or stubby feet.
Well, then
short feet.
Then how in the heck did it move so rapidly that they couldn't stop their car and see it before it toddled off into the water?
Dude, I'll tell you what. If I ever see, the Snuffleupagus crossing the road with Big Bird in his mouth, yes. I'm going to, hammer that throttle.
That's what I'm saying.
And get up there as quick as I can.
It's a little bit on the outlandish side.
Oh, but check this out. So, again, just reading. I'm not going to read anything. I'm just going to give you an idea of reports. So, 1871, 1872 was the first one. 1888, 1933, 1934, 1938, 1954, 1955, 1960, 1977, 2007, 2011, 2013, 2014, 2015. Those are all the sightings that have happened so far. But
yep.
What time are we into the show? We can say it now. Scientists have actually stepped in and done what? Tons of DNA tests within the loch.
Yes, in 2018, scientists, after a subsequent sweep of the loch with thermal imaging and coming up empty-handed, they decided to do a study where they took samples of water from 250 different areas in Loch Ness. Now, they broke these down and studied them down to the DNA that was in the water. And with each of the... adding them all up, each of the samples of water, they found 3,000 different types of DNA in the water, which means there are 3,000 different animals who live in the loch.
Right. Now,
every single one of those animals could readily be identified as some animal that we know today. So all the DNA is connected to, a known animal in the water, a known aquatic animal. There is no DNA of a catfish. There is no DNA of a shark or a whale. There is also no DNA of anything that is reptilian of any kind. There is amphibious stuff,
no prehistoric
like frogs,
dinosaurs.
None of that. People, if there was one in there, it would have showed up.
Oh yeah, I mean, because you're not escaping thermal imaging. You're not. Excuse me. You're not escaping sonar or anything like. You're really not. You're not gonna do it.
No, you're not.
So I mean, and it's finally, scientists have actually put something to rest for once. No offense, scientific people, scientists, but I'm glad you finally stepped in and put something to rest.
Absolutely. And there were several years ago. There was a sonar image that was discovered that looked very much like
a plesiosaurus.
And so they went in and found it, plesiosaurus. But they went in and found that it was an old prop from a movie that was made in the 1970s, and it was in the shape of a plesiosaur, but it was used for a movie, and that was that mystery. So now we're going to get into the likely culprits. So people are obviously seeing something and have been for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
when I saw the picture of these things, I was like, whoa, yeah, that could be.
It's interesting because earlier accounts of sea monsters, Loch Ness Monster type beings, and even things that sailors drew out in the 1800s looked very much like some sort of scaly dragon type being. Now, if you go and look, there are two, I think, rather pliable ideas that stick. One of them is a sturgeon.
Yep.
Now, there are 25 different species of sturgeon in the world.
Awesome.
They are all over the place, by the way. They are in freshwater. They are in
Like
brackish
rabbits.
water. And they are, in salt water. Although their numbers are dwindling, they are out there. They live a very long time. They come to maturity at very late age.
Wow. So they can live probably a really long time.
They're very ancient prehistoric
Whoa.
type fish. And the largest, which, by the way,
Wait for
oddly
it.
enough, was sighted very close, or actually caught very close to the time of the sighting of the first sighting of the Loch Ness Monster in the 1800s, was 24 feet long.
And how much did it weigh?
3,400 pounds. If that is not a sea monster or a lake monster, I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
These things are spiny. They have weird heads, almost crocodile-like.
We watched a video of a guy who caught one that was 12 feet long.
Yes.
And it took 3 men just to hold this thing, and you still
1,100 pounds.
Yeah, and you still couldn't see it all.
No, they're massive. Now, and they do school.
Yeah.
So if you,
And they do come to the surface.
this would explain any sort of odd sonar.
Yep.
Because when fish school together, they will become a mass.
And people do claim it looks like a torpedo.
Exactly, or a dragon.
Or
and
a dragon.
if you see a sturgeon
Eel-like.
crest, then you will see that it's very, very prehistoric looking, very otherworldly. And if you get 3 or 4 of these sturgeon together, you're going to get, what are you going to get? You're going to get a sea monster. Also is another culprit. And by the way, these things are all over the world, sturgeon. So it could be that a sturgeon is the answer to many of these sea monsters because they're not seen very often. Sturgeon numbers have dwindled. So since that's the case, somebody could fish a certain area their whole life and never see a sturgeon, and then all of a sudden one day, bam, a giant sturgeon comes up, and what are they going to think? I've never seen it before. It's got to be a monster.
Well,
right?
I mean, I've heard of things that come into the loch, hang out for a little bit, and then make their way out. What was it, a seal or something like that?
Yes, seal
came in,
do that.
hung out for a couple months.
Yeah, they have done that.
And then made their way back out.
And there was no seal DNA.
Nope.
So, interesting. Yeah. That is interesting. But a sturgeon is the 8th largest fish in the world.
Yeah, damn.
So, that's a big fish.
Yep.
It's a big fish.
It definitely is a big fish.
And they're like I said, they're all over the world. So it could be a likely culprit. I think, in my opinion, that may be the case. Also, we have something called and I can't remember the name of it. I've got it somewhere, but it's an eel. Now, there are giant eels, and I think they're called, I'm thinking of the name of the largest eel, but they do live
Giant
in
moray.
many. No, it's another type of eel, and they live in many. It starts with a C. They live in many bodies of water, and they are often mistaken for sea monsters. And the largest of those has gotten up to 9 feet long. So these, and I think it's called the conger eel, which is I'm pretty sure it's a conger eel. And they're giant. They're very massive, long. And if you see one of those hit the surface of the water and cause a wake, that could
Conger
cause
eel.
you. Yeah, that could cause you to
look
think.
at it.
Yeah, it's
One ugly mofo.
they are ugly. Now, there are reports of them
Holy
getting to be
cow.
20 feet long.
This one is 7 feet or more. Wow.
Exactly. So, I mean, not to say that that's your sea monster, but maybe
damn.
that's your sea monster.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys.
She's
What do you
7
think in
feet or
chat?
more in length. Seen around the Mediterranean and European. Most conger eels are poorly known, so they don't. And it's not something, I guess, that's seen too often.
No, they're not seen very often, which again is another reason why people would see it.
Wow, they think it's a monster. They can go in the sea and fresh water.
Yes, they can go into brackish water and fresh water, and I mean, so the fact that they are seen in so many different places, I mean, that could definitely be a culprit.
Yes, it could. So I just want to say what's up to chat. Matt, Shay, thanks for coming.
Hey, guys.
I don't have my normals in here tonight. Wait a minute. What is normal?
Our abnormals.
Abnormal is normal.
The crypto crew is asleep tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Yes, we're talking about. So, guys, this one's a little bit different for us.
Hold on. Matt says Champ in Lake Champlain is probably a sturgeon.
You know what? I thought the same thing. It just would only make sense, It just, when you look at the reports, and you know me, I love to look at reports. I'm like the report guru. I go to bed listening to reports.
Yes.
John's going to just kick me out of
Yes,
one
you're
day.
right, Shay. Your bull sharks can go in both types of water.
They can.
They actually retain, I think they either have a separate area for it or they retain the salt water in their bladder.
Yeah, something to do with their bladder. Yeah,
they can go in fresh water.
But, in the
I think they're found in Vietnam, if I'm not sure. They have found sharks in some rivers.
Oh, absolutely, they have.
If I'm not
even
mistaken.
in Louisiana. They have found them up the rivers in Louisiana.
Right.
Yeah, so, but we're going to go over a list of sea monsters or lake monsters in the United States. So,
this is great.
We'll go over these and we'll see what you guys think. We're going to go over just in random order. Montana has the Flathead Lake Monster. I mean, and that's a creative name. Okay, Idaho has the Twilight Dragon in Payette Lake. Isabella in Bear Lake, Idaho. I don't know what these look like. I'll have to look that up too. Tessie, which I assume looks like Nessie, in Lake Tahoe, California. Hamlet in Lake Elsinore in California. Skinfin in Lake Powell in Arizona.
It sounded like a pervert name, that one.
It did, doesn't it? Listen to this one, Smetty. Smetty in Lake DeSmet in Wyoming. Blue Dilly. These don't get any better.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm trying to vape over here. And it just turned out. Wait, what was the name again?
Blue Dilly.
Blue Dilly. That sounds like something. Never mind. I'm just going to shut my mic off now.
Lake Dillon in Colorado. How about Peppy? In Lake Pepin, Minnesota.
Peppy Le Pew.
Here we go. Okeechobee.
Okeechobee.
In Okeechobee Lake.
Smoky Jokey.
I don't know what Okeechobee. Oh.
Well,
I can't
let me see. Where is it?
It's Okoboji.
Okeechobee.
Okeechobee Lake.
That's in Okoboji Lake. I'm trying to really pronounce this.
This is tough, guys.
Actually, the one in Massachusetts.
We're getting to that.
I'm trying to look here, lady. Let go. I just want to look at it.
That's what he said. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to forego Iowa because we can't pronounce that.
Let me see it. Let me see the Iowa one. Let me see that. Hold on a second. Where is it? Iowa.
You can't miss it.
Okeechobee. Okeechobee.
No, pronounce the name of the lake now. It's different.
Okoboji. 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 There you go.
He got it. Oh my God.
I'll spell that. Okoboji.
Okeechobee. Okay.
Okoboji.
He's right. Moving on. Okay, Rocky in Rock Lake, Wisconsin.
Eye of the tiger.
Lake Michigan has the. Oh, now listen to this one. This one's completely. I mean, you would never get this.
What?
Lake Michigan in Michigan has the Lake Michigan Monster.
No way.
I mean, they went out on a limb on that one.
Whoa.
Lake Michigan. I would never have guessed it.
Never.
Bessie is Lake Erie in Ohio. Champ is Lake Champlain in Vermont, like Matt was talking about. Then we have Poco, which is at Poco Moonshine Lake in Maine. Poco Moonshine? And we have the Gloucester.
Gloucester. Say it right.
Gloucester Sea Serpent.
No. Don't say it like a New Yorkan.
Gloucester.
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 Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Sea Serpent in Gloucester. Gloucester Harbor.
There you go.
In Mass.
She got it.
I'm learning. And then there's Kipsey in Hudson River, New York. And Chessie in Chesapeake Bay, Maryland. Normie. Oh, my God. People, come on. If you're going to have Lake Monster, come up with a better name than this. Normie in Lake Norman, North Carolina. Then we have the Altamaha in Altima River in Georgia.
That's right.
Tarpey in Lake Tarpon in Florida. The Muck Monster in Lake Worth Lagoon, Florida.
Yeah.
And those are the regular monsters.
My air conditioner makes too much noise.
At least it's not hot. Then we have the not regular, like our listeners and us.
What is not regular?
The not regular monsters. Aquatic monsters.
You
have giant turtles. There's one in New Mexico called the deep diving turtle.
Luke, I am your father.
And then there's the Beast of Busco in Indiana.
Beast of Busco.
Yeah, Beast of Busco. Then there's a whole subset called webbed hominids.
So like human reptilian.
Right. Now this is
BS.
just these are just what are so weird. The connection between aquatic animal and these other things is just these people were doing some hardcore something to see this stuff. There's the white monkey in Sago River, Maine. Don't even. Just stop. Just don't. And then this is the tainted keter. The tainted keter in Honey Island Swamp, Louisiana, which is where the Honey Island Swamp Monster is.
So said white monkey.
Wait. The tainted keter.
The ancient beast known as the beaver trap. He said that last week too, Matt. That's why it's even funnier this time.
Oh my God. I love it. The beaver trout. I wonder if the tainted keter and the beaver trout are friends.
Oh God!
Oh Lord Jesus, save us!
All right. Well, listen. I need another cup of coffee, and I have to take a break. So we'll be right back. And I got some music.
We'll pick up where we left off.
I got some music for you guys to listen to.
Right back, guys. Stay tuned, please.
Stay tuned. And welcome back to the Cryptid Files, where we talk about tainted keeters and beaver trout.
That's right.
And the side effect of beaver trout, which is beaver traps.
So can you use a beaver trap to catch a tainted keeter?
Or do you use tainted keeters to catch beaver traps? Or beaver trout? Oh. That is the question.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, listen, we got some other stuff to talk about. We actually got something that I wouldn't say happened to us last night, or we didn't really have an encounter, but
it was interesting.
It was definitely interesting.
I've got to finish reading these.
All right, you do that. I'm going to finish making my coffee because I was just laughing so hard when we went to break. I couldn't finish making it, so I'll be right back.
And I'm going to go over this list of not normal cryptids or lake monsters for you, Matt. Just for you, bud. And after the tainted keeter that lives in the Honey Island Swamp of Louisiana is the Lake Worth monster, which is a goat man. Now, why in the world is that considered a lake monster? I mean, I know it's the Lake Worth monster, but I don't know. And so then we have the monster fish called Illy.
It's because it has the word lake in it. That's
Alaska.
Why.
Now check this out. They get worse. We have the Lake Chelan monster, which is called the winged alligator snake.
Winged
alligator. Let me say it like this: winged alligator snake.
Winged alligator snake. So I'm trying to put the three in my head.
You know, in the words of the great Rick James, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yes.
We have the horse-headed alligator in Utah, the horned alligator in Nebraska.
The horny alligator in Nebraska. Wait, hold on. I'm just trying to think of Nebraska.
They ain't got alligators.
And alligators.
Right, but they don't have alligators.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't, not regular ones. They have horned ones.
No. They don't have alligators up there, period.
Except the horned one.
Anyways.
Just like Utah has the great horse-headed alligator. And then we can't forget the winged alligator snake.
Yeah, right.
Now, why is that alligator snake with wings in the water?
So it's a winged snake with an alligator head.
No, it's an alligator snake wing. I don't.
Whatever.
It's something. And then,
yeah, right. Welcome to 2020. It's a hell of a drug.
And this is your favorite.
Oh boy.
Your very favorite. The giant killer octopus of Lake Thunderbird, Oklahoma.
Dude. Listen. A giant killer octopus in Oklahoma. Just think about that.
We'll have to look into this.
Dude, whatever these people are smoking, I want some of that.
Did you see the size of that chicken?
I mean, look. You just imagine you sitting in a big old cornfield in Oklahoma one night. And all of a sudden, whatever. And whatever they got up there. Tainted keeters.
No, not there.
No,
right, that's Louisiana.
Well, anyways.
So you're sitting in a cornfield.
Yeah, you're sitting in a whatever field. And all of a sudden, you see the giant killer octopus go flying by.
It doesn't have one. So, okay. That was a giant killer octopus.
Yeah.
Did you hear it?
Just one by.
Just as you were saying, and I'm what are the odds?
Wow, man. Just imagine all the drugs that they had to intake to see this thing.
Yes.
I mean, in all seriousness now, Oklahoma, you have a lot of splaining to do.
You do.
Because where the hell did you get a giant killer octopus?
I mean, I know about the siege of Honolulu in Oklahoma.
Whatever you said.
Yeah. But giant octopuses, I know not of. And so how do we know that this octopus is a killer octopus? It's just because it's big?
Nice?
That's what I'm saying. Are they just judging it because it's giant?
Well,
and what constitutes a giant octopus? How big does it have to be for it to be giant? I mean, I have questions.
You got me. I don't know.
I've got questions that will probably never be answered.
Yeah.
That's the story of my life. Okay, so we have only a couple more and we're done with this nightmare.
Then we can get into our experience last night.
So then we had, are we going to really get into that?
Just finish reading it, lady.
So So then we have the horned beast. Just the horned beast.
Listen, there's an awful lot of horny beasts on here.
There is. This one's just a horned beast. It looks like a sea lion with a horn coming out of its head, like a sea lion unicorn.
A unicorn.
Anyway, and so it's called Whitey.
Whitey.
And then we have
No, he's dead.
Then we have this one.
Or is he?
We have this thing called Harry, Herry, not Hairy. And it's called the giant eel pig.
What is up with these people, man?
It's got a pig head and an eel body.
Pig head with an eel.
And it's giant too.
Does it have wings?
No.
Is it horned?
No.
Okay.
Just a pig head and an eel body.
I'm trying to visualize this in my head.
It's giant.
It's giant. Well, but what constitutes something being giant?
No. I don't.
Where the hell do these people get these things?
And then we have in Michiganders.
What?
People live in Michigan.
Michigonians?
This is the Mitsubishi.
Mitsubishi?
Yeah, I had a friend who said it that way. Mitsubishi. Anyway, so this is the aquatic. They had to put aquatic on the beginning so it lived in the lake. Lynx Monster. Lynx.
Yeah, Shay, I don't plan on visiting the Midwest either. There's some crazy stuff that happens out there. Can't you tell?
Evidently, between the...
There's a lot of good drugs out there, man.
Oh, my God. But, yeah... I don't know. Louisiana's no better with the tainted Keeters.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you something. After doing the Rougarou.
Yes, the Rougarou.
I mean, I tend to I blame nuclear testing out west. That's what Matt just said. Anyways,
no, wait. Do we blame nuclear testing on the way that the people are seeing, or do we blame it on these animals being downstairs mix-ups?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, Greg. Okay, so we're done with that because I can't.
Greg would be an example.
I can't even Yes, Montana. Okay, we're coming.
50-50.
It's not. This is unraveling very quickly, or like Kanye said, 51-50.
51-50.
We're not talking about that either.
Yeah, no.
No. So okay. Anyway, that we can't. Okay, the lake monsters are. I think we have squeezed the teat on that. There's no milk left, so we need to move on. I think maybe.
Okay.
Because I have nothing else.
All right, so why don't we discuss what happened to us last night?
I think we should.
Okay.
What happened to us or what we did?
Sure.
Okay, so we went out to eat, first of all, by the way.
Yes.
I'm going to do a little plug in here.
Why don't we do a couple plugs?
We're going to.
Okay.
Okay, two in particular.
Yes.
So we went out on a little date because we don't do that very often right now. And since we're, married, it's good to go on dates. So we went to this place.
Connie, Gloucester Seaport Service. Sorry, go ahead. I'm just reading.
What? Did you say Connie?
Connie's on here.
Connie, dude, check this out. I had a really weird dream last night.
Oh, boy. I thought we weren't going to discuss this dream.
Well, I'm sorry, but he's on here. I got to. Look, this has been bugging me all day. So I had a dream I was at your house. Okay? I was at y'all's house. You and Kim, we were all hanging out. Was having fun. I mean, we had... Okay, anyway. And so, evidently, someone had come over previously the night before. And you and Artie had gotten into a fisticuffs with this individual. I don't know who they were. And so Artie killed him, and you guys, you buried him under your bathroom floor downstairs and bricked it over and mortared it. And so I was in there, and the toilet started to kind of sink into the ground, and you had katanas hanging on the wall. And so I took the katana and proceeded to mash it in between the mortar and the bricks, and this awful smell came up. Evidently, Artie was serial killing and burying all the people under your bathroom floor. So that was my dream last night.
So I can add to the smell, though, because, I had passed. I had a little bit of flatulence.
And see, there is a segue. The reason I'm telling this dream is because we're segueing because John's fart is going to segue into the nice dinner. This is terrible. Okay, so we went to this. This is me all the time, by the way, people. I'd feel you need to pray for this man because this is me 24/7.
I'm a saint.
Just like he is, just letting you know, because I'm off the rails most of the time. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, no, I don't know, but yes, buried under the bathroom floor. I'm assuming you dug it, kind of like a John Wayne Gacy sort of thing, and Artie had been doing this frequently, and so you took and you put bricks over it and mortar instead of the floor in the bathroom.
So we were in the WMA last night, Wildlife Management.
Yes, we were.
An area, I believe it's number 4. I'm not really sure.
Yes.
I'm starting to forget how many areas we got.
After our nice dinner.
So we're just... We have a hunch that something... We have a hunch that Bigfoot's out in here. After talking to Rick Willis, we have a really good hunch.
We have been out here... How many times? We've
4
done
or 5
day hikes.
times.
We've done night hikes. We've camped.
Yeah.
We've been out here a good bit.
Yeah. And so we're just kind of chilling and, we're just whatever. Shut the car off, listening. And nothing. I mean, just nothing. It's just cicadas and frogs and crickets and whatever. So she gets out of the car. I get out of the car with her. We take a little bit of a walk. I blind her with the flashlight a few times. Dave would be proud of me.
Yes, that flashlight.
And so we get back to the car, and all of a sudden she goes, woo! I'm like, what are you doing?
He's like, don't do that.
I'm like, Rick Rellis said, don't do that.
Like, don't do that. After we've already had a long discussion about things I shouldn't be doing. Again, as per the usual.
So nothing happened. So then I decided to take my big Bostonian mouth and woo as loud as I possibly could, and it just echoed for days.
It did.
And then nothing happened. So we're just sitting there again, listening just in case, because it might be like a little residual thing that sound is still traveling, maybe hasn't gotten there yet. Nothing. So I just went woo, like something we do at work to get the attention of other people because it's so loud and their whistles aren't loud enough. You got to woo to get somebody's attention. And wouldn't you know?
Yep.
Woo, you could hear it just faintly.
Yes. And it was pretty drawn out.
Yeah, so we get in the car. She's like, are we going to chase it? Are we going to chase it? Are we going to chase it? I'm like, yes. So we start driving down this dirt road. And all of a sudden, so now I just want to let people know I've quit smoking. I'm on day 10. No cigarettes.
Yay.
Okay? So we're driving down the road. And there's a reason why I told you that. Driving down the road, and all of a sudden, I smelled the muskiest, disgusting smell in my life.
He picked it up first. Both our windows were open because I'm hanging out the window listening. And there is no one. There's no one in between the road, the Forest Service road that we were on, that's off this main road.
Thanks, Matt.
And where we were, there is nothing. There's no one. No camping. It's nothing out there. Like, nothing.
Yeah.
And, he smelled it first. It was
oh, my God.
Musky, territory marking
It
smell.
was one of those, I was driving, it was one of those stops that I didn't, like, jack on the brakes and slide for days. It was one of those, I wasn't driving fast enough, but hit the brakes quick, and the car slid just a couple feet. And then I put it in reverse, and we backed up, and the more we backed up, the worse it got. And I was like, what is that smell?
And we're freaking Scooby-Dooing. We're doing this stuff, like trying to smell it, and got our noses out the window.
So
and
my skeptical self, goes, wait a minute. All right, I smell that. I don't know what it is, but I smell it. But it still doesn't explain the sound.
It doesn't.
So I was like, all right, I know down the road here people camp. And, they might be out there partying, whatever it is.
There's a walking trail, pretty popular hiking trail.
And there's a waterfall and everything else.
That's only not far away. What, about 30 or 40 yards down the street from that?
Maybe 50 yards, no more than that, though.
Yeah.
So we drive down and there's nobody there.
Nothing.
We keep driving.
By the way, we want to mention that the smell was very close to the area where we got the potential tracks in the mud a few weeks ago.
And the rock thrown at me.
The rock thrown at you. And also, it is not far away from the check-in station where we were sitting one night and something threw a rock or something
at a sign.
At a sign that is on one of the bars that cross over the driving area that goes up to the check-in station. And there are, these metal poles that have signs on them, and something threw something at a sign, and it was very loud. So this is all an area where these things have happened.
So we keep driving. Nothing. There's houses, but we stopped. Nobody's partying. Keep going. The only thing that we did find was a camper parked, and they were smoking food.
Yes, it was an RV parked in a little field area it was pretty far down the road. It's like a mile and a half down the road.
Maybe a mile. I wouldn't go that far.
And
maybe a mile.
They were smoking meat.
Because you know how the roads are down here, twisty and turny. Just because you've driven 2 miles doesn't mean you went 2 miles.
No, there's not. There's not a straight line out here. I'll tell you that right now.
And then it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, you smell that? And she's like, yeah, it smells good. And I'm like, yeah, it does. It reminds me of the Pink Pig. Love the food, by the way.
That's where we went to eat last night.
So, and then we were just like, then we started putting 2 and 2 together. The howl that we heard and the guy or girl smoking the food. Mm-hmm. It would make sense.
It would make sense.
That it heard us. It was on the way to the food, and it was calling back to us possibly. Right. Possibly.
I don't know.
Unfortunately, we didn't get it on recording.
But I just, I had a strong sense last night that after our date, we did go to the Pink Pig. It's very good, by the way. If you are in Cherry Log, Georgia, LJ, anywhere in North Georgia, in the mountains, and you want somewhere good to eat. Some like
home cooked food.
And it's barbecue, so you've got brisket, and you've got barbecue sandwiches, the whole 9 yards, and the little additional menu. They got great sides.
And you got to go through Cherry Log slow, because if you blink, you'll literally go through it.
Yes, you will. And so now 2 of our favorite places are in Cherry Log, Georgia. And that is the Pink Pig. And by the way, the lady that is in charge over there is amazing. She's just adorable. And we love her. And you do not have to wear a mask in there, by the way. So
if you want to, you can.
You can, but you don't have to. And it was great. It was a great experience. The staff was awesome. The food is amazing. And I would go give it a try. And
that
also,
blackberry cobbler.
Blackberry cobbler was off the chain. Also, we managed to sit beside our friends David and Melinda Bakar from Expedition Bigfoot, everybody, which is our other favorite place.
Great people.
Amazing people. You're not going to meet better folks than them.
If you want to go see evidence of Bigfoot, I would suggest to go, even if you're like-minded like myself, very skeptical about it. There's a lot of good information there. I mean, they have a lot of casts of footprints. Yes, they actually have the cast of scat, and it's approximately 3 feet long.
Yes.
I feel bad for that dude if he ever gets backed up. Hair samples and everything else, which we did happen to find some hair samples today. We think it's a bear.
I'm 99% sure. I looked it up, and it looks very much everything bear.
Because this telephone pole, approximately 6 feet up, and then it continues up, and maybe another, 7 or 8 inches, was all torn up.
It was a big, tall bear.
If it's a black bear, it's not really that tall. It's not really that big.
Well, that is pretty far up that pole that he is.
He probably,
scratching.
If I had to take a guess, he probably stood at least 6 feet.
At least. He's a big old boy. He's scratching on that. But you see where the hair sample was. It was pretty far up. And they for some reason love to use posts.
Yeah.
I was reading that. So it looks very much like we got the hair samples. We do have them, but it looks very much like bear. We'll run it by David and Melinda and see what they think.
We're going to... We're gonna definitely give him to David Malin, because he'd be able to tell us just by looking at the microscope. He'd know instantly what it is.
He also recommended the cobbler.
Yep, and the chicken tenders. Oh, thank you, David. But we're gonna give him the hair sample anyways, just to check, just to make sure, because supposedly Sasquatch hair or fur, if you will, it looks like nothing that is on this planet.
Nothing known. Yeah,
nothing
no known samples of anything that can be identified. So, but yeah, I've been getting a little frustrated, even though there have been a couple of sightings lately in the general area. I've been getting pretty frustrated lately with our endeavors because nothing's happening.
Well, I mean, the area that we seem to be going to now, humming from the lines on the poles and sounds like bees. What are you talking about, Matt?
It does sound like bees, the humming from the lines, like poles,
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah. So,
where was I going?
The area that we've been.
So the area that we've been going to, we've been to areas where they're aggressive. We don't go there
We
anymore.
believe so.
So we've been to areas where they're neutral. So we think.
We believe so.
I'm beginning to feel that if there is a Bigfoot here, I don't think it's aggressive. I don't think it's harmful. I really don't. Does it scare the absolute shit out of me when you hear some big cry? Because I've heard it. Something really big crashing through the woods. Oh, yeah, it does. It makes my butthole wink. I'm not going to lie. But, I mean, there was one night I was like, yep, no, it's time to go. I'm done.
Yeah.
Literally. I'm done. Let's go.
And we were discussing, is it the idea of something that big and sizable and you not being able to see it and it coming up on you? Or is it, is it just that scary? Because to me, I'm not scared. I should be more scared than I am.
A 7, 8, 9 foot thing coming out of the woods, weighing roughly between 8 and 1,500 pounds. Yeah, like Matt says, pucker factor times 10. Yeah, I don't think I would run because at that point, there is no point in running.
Yeah.
Because if something is going to happen, it's going to happen before you can even get to the car. Even if you're standing right next to it.
It could break you in half.
It would just reach right through the window and pull you out whole.
And I should, but I think that my just my drive is just far greater than my fear.
Yeah.
But, I've been really frustrated about the idea that, just the fact that we have been working so hard and just it seems like we're yielding no results lately.
Yeah. Well, they are starting to happen, though.
Last night was kind of a revival for me.
Shay says, I'm afraid of a 10-inch animal coming out. Never mind that.
It's true. That's true. But I think last night kind of recharged me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not afraid of Bigfoot. What I am afraid of is the cougars and the bears is what I'm afraid of.
A friend of ours recently took a picture of a big old fat cougar in that same area.
We're talking big.
Big cougar. And then we find evidence of the bears there too. So we know they're in the area. But that just is not a deterrent for me. But we also do know that this sound that we heard last night is neither a cougar nor a bear.
No. Now, there is a possibility. It could have been coyotes way, way out.
But it was too deep to be a coyote. A coyote makes, the high pitched sound they make. That definitely wasn't a coyote.
I can't do it. I can do it to the dog. But
I guess just like a paranormal investigator, it gets frustrating when things just don't happen. Speaking of which, I was going to say the same thing. Another segue.
Yeah. So we've been working with, I want to say a property owner and his caretaker on a specific place. I'm sure some of you have seen me post or talk about it on Facebook. I'm trying not to give too much away because the problem is right now is there's a historical home in the area that we live in. Okay. And it's under renovation. So what is happening now is there's a caretaker. Love you, Ricky.
Oh, he's awesome, guys.
We're actually probably going to go see him tonight. But, excuse me. What happens is the house is known for all this history, okay? Mm-hmm. And we've heard from paranormal teams where they're the chief of police runs it, and all this blah 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 history. And when we do the history, we found out some of the history is very incorrect. Anyways, so we ended up finding some things out, and we think that
Several.
the property owner should know about it.
Right.
So we're looking into that. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to throw this out there, okay? Because this house needs some help. It needs to be finished. The outside is absolutely stunning and beautiful.
It's amazing.
The inside is bare bones right now.
Built in 1843?
41. So what we need, if there's people in Georgia that are interested, this place needs some contractors. It needs the insides finished. It needs the electricity run. This place, it's haunted.
That are not afraid of stuff going on when they're there.
We're not asking you to stay the night, man. Just let's get this house done so that way he can, the owner can open it up and make
he wants to make a bed and breakfast of it. A haunted bed and breakfast, possibly.
Maybe.
But a lot of the history needs to be, I think, corrected. And right now, you've got a bunch of teenagers that want to come in there every single weekend night and just bombard the place, which is it just.
So that's exactly what happens. Is we were there investigating the place. We had permission from the owner.
Yes,
which you
need permission.
Yes, because other than that, Ricky will toss your ass out.
Well, you're trespassing. It's private property.
So
we don't condone
when
that.
we were down there, we didn't throw away, but we helped get rid of 3 cars worth of people. Hey, Fran.
Hey, Fran. We love you.
And Ricky just can't do it himself. He's the only guy there. So, he told us, hey, come back whenever you want. I'm more than welcome to go back and sit with Ricky just to toss people out of there. The problem is people come down there 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, want to go inside because they hear the horrific stories. Well, guess what? Some of those horrific stories that you heard
are not
happen.
True. And we have done some fact-finding on this.
A lot of fact-finding.
And it's... And shame on any paranormal group who has been there before. Shame on you.
Yes.
I just have to say it. Shame on you, because one of the first things you're supposed to do as an investigator and as a team, and I think we all know that, is you have to do some history on your property.
Well, let's throw it out there in chat, and I can probably guess the answer. And I would probably say that Shay and Matt, or both, do a lot of fact finding before they go somewhere.
Yeah, or they have someone who has already done it.
Yes, and if they do find facts, I would guarantee you that they do what I do, is they keep continuing to find these facts until they find one little flaw in it. Well, just like we did.
And even if you don't go that far, just some simple history search, and you take the stories, and this is par for the course for an investigator. I mean, I've always thought it goes hand in hand with the investigating. In order to find out how you need to approach a property as far as your investigation goes, you need to know what the facts are, and you need to know what you're really dealing with, not the hearsay and not what everybody says has gone on, not all the passed on stories, but the actual facts, the actual people who lived in the house, the things that actually happened there, so that you can get a better idea of what you're dealing with and how to approach what you're dealing with.
Okay, just let me give you a little example of this place. Bob died there. Jeff died there. Rich died there. Michael died there, right? We'll just say.
Yeah. And these are not the
these aren't
these are
names.
not the, we're just
using throwing stuff out there.
Yes.
So I was like, all right, cool. So I'm like, but did they? So I start looking at the county records. Can't find anything. Can't find anything as far as the house goes.
No.
But what I did find out is that the land was taken from the Indians.
Yes. It was taken in a land lottery from the Cherokee Indians.
So I keep digging. And I was like, well, let's see if I can find any death records. I can't find any death records. So it's really starting to aggravate me. So I went, wait a minute. Family cemetery is not too far. So let's go to findagrave.com, start putting in names.
That's where we started.
I found out that Bob and Rich died on the property. Everybody else
doesn't even exist.
They died in other towns.
Yeah, some of them. There are 11,
and some even in other states.
There are 11 individuals that we're dealing with that are tied to this property.
Yep. Only 2 of them died on the property.
Only 2 died on the property that we can find. Some died in different places. But the people who did die in the house, they have absolutely wrong, and some of them never even were there, according to records.
And there's 2 of them that we can't even find
at all.
Which would have been Michael and Ben, and we can't even find them.
And we're coming in here addressing Michael and Ben.
Yeah.
When we should not have really been addressing Michael and Ben.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, we didn't really do any hard fact finding before we went in there. We kind of...
It was preliminary.
We were trying to get our own opinions
yes.
on the place, and
our first goal was to go in and just to do
I'm
a
sorry,
baseline.
I got swirled there for a second.
That's okay.
So, yeah, we went in there based off what the caretaker had said. But that's what was told to him. But
we had to get the information, and that's what we went in to do, to get all the information we could on the house to begin with, so that we had something to work with and so that we had something to look up.
Yeah.
So that's what we did firstly. Mm-hmm. And we found out the owners of the house who had it built, the whole 9 yards from the caretaker, which is, he's awesome. And he is really good with what he does. And so we just went from there.
Yeah.
And... you know, we really did some good hard searching and hit a few different sites and put some stuff together, and we came up with what we did, and it's pretty interesting. And even though a lot of the history is wrong, it does not change the fact that there's something happening in that house.
Look, I'm just kind of disappointed, and this is one thing that kind of burns my ass, and I'm not going to call anybody out, but when you say you're a chief of police and you have your own paranormal team and your history is totally wrong, that's a huge disappointment as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I'm totally disappointed.
Well, I think it if people knew the actual history and the idea of what is actually going on in that house and on the property itself, that less people would probably come out.
They made the owner of the property, the original owner of the property, they made him out to be a tyrant.
Yeah.
This awful person.
Made him look so bad.
And when we turned around and we did the history, that wasn't the case.
Not at all.
That was not. He was such a loving person.
Yeah. And we were addressing a child in the wrong manner. We were addressing that child, but additional children.
The manner wasn't wrong.
No.
It's the fact that we were addressing 3 other children, 2 of which did not exist.
Yep.
Okay, and only the 2 others did.
Yeah. And
but one had grown to be 80-something years old.
And lived very long. But I am happy to tell you guys that we did get some interesting evidence.
That is a very good point, Shay. Do you think fake stories can create activity? I do think that they can create activity.
Absolutely.
But I think my opinion, where the activity comes from is your brain.
Here's what I think.
In a way, almost poltergeist-like.
Here's what I think. I think that the activity, when you get something like that and you get the fake stories, I think the activity comes from possibly the intelligent haunt that's probably frustrated at the fact that all of paranormal, who knows?
I don't know what the hell that was.
I don't either. But the fact that
what?
We have no idea what's going on.
Did you guys now just hear that? Where the fuck are you? Well, we can't see you. It's the stepdaughter.
She's sitting in the dark.
That was a pucker times 5 there.
That was great. I was like, yes,
the problem was I couldn't see it. I'm like, where the hell's it all coming from? We had an audience and didn't know.
Happening right here.
Yeah, I know. Sorry guys for the vape, but I'm trying to
He's
stick
doing great.
To it.
You know what,
10
guys?
days.
Encourage him.
10 days. You're just going to have to deal with it.
But no, I think that the activity can very much come from the fact that something is frustrated.
I would also like to think, too, that if the fake stories create the activity, because I think it might have been along the lines of what you said, because we're addressing something that is not there. Meanwhile, the actual spirit that is there is going, no.
Exactly.
No, I'm here, not that person. They don't
and this
exist.
is not what I'm like. I was not that way. That was not me.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that kind of lends to the activity. And I think it frustrates them. One thing we do know is that these particular people do not like our spirit box. They do not like it.
Actually, believe it or not, we were running the spirit box and we would get nothing. And then we finally asked the question, is this too much? Do you not like this? And they told us straight out, no, we don't.
I kept getting the feeling, and I get these, but I kept getting the feeling like I was irritated. Like this was irritating me.
Let me tell you something. We didn't spend a whole lot of time in the house. We really, almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of time, but within the first half of an hour, I'm like, yeah, I'm bored.
Yeah, he did.
I want to go home. I'm bored.
But it was the sound of the box was really irritating me. And when we were upstairs in this one area, I just kept thinking, something just kept telling me, turn it down, just turn it down.
Eventually,
turn it down.
we turned it off.
And I was just like, maybe I just finally, it got to be too much. And I'm like, we just need to just turn it down. We got our best evidence when the box was off.
Yeah, we actually did. We got a lot of EVPs from that place.
We got an amazing EVP of a little girl.
We're here.
And it is the cutest thing. And it just is so plain. It's a Class A. I would say it's a Class A.
Well, I think we had a lot of Class A's.
We did. It's really amazing. They're just right there.
I was just going to get to that, Shay. So we found out that these things absolutely hate the spirit box, like Cindy said. So we figured the next time we go there, one of us will wear the headphones, blindfold, and the other one will write down a series, maybe 10 questions, and we'll record with the S box, which I love, by the way, and we'll record with a voice recorder. And then what we can do is we can take the two and splice them together.
Right. So
that way you can hear the question and actually hear the answer. The only problem with that in my mind, and some people are going to be like, oh, you just made that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'll be able to hear her answer, the S box answer. I mean, yeah, it's not going to prove anything, but to some people it will.
Yeah. No. And that was our next little venture. We're trying to hit this in a different way because I feel like that in this particular property that there are ties to the Native Americans. In fact, the caretaker, who's a bit of a sensitive guy, when we came in, he was like, he looked at John and said, you've got Indian blood in you, don't you? John said, no, not me.
Not me.
And I looked at him and I said, that's me.
Yeah, she just come walking right up behind me.
Yeah, my grandparents are,
Cherokee,
are Cherokee Indian. And I mean, they helped raise me. And you couldn't tell that they were my grandparents. So, that's a big part of my heritage in life. So I feel like that there is a connection with that in this place, and I think we need to hit it in that direction. And tell me what you guys think about this, about us really kind of digging in and maybe speaking some Cherokee to see if we can.
Well, okay, I'm going to tell you, I knew an Abenaki. Mm-hmm. Okay, Abenaki or Algonquin. I'm trying to remember which one's the language. Abenaki, I think, might be the language, and Algonquin was the Indian, or vice versa. So please excuse me, I don't really know. Excuse my white man ignorance. But anyways, I was talking to a Native American, and he would tell me, for a white man to speak it, such as myself, it's a big disrespect and a big no-no. Okay. So if somebody was going to speak it, it would have to be somebody with native blood. Example, you would be the one to speak it.
Well, then I'll be the one to speak it. So that's what we'll approach it. We're going to try some different stuff. We really want to kind of get in and dig into this place and do a series of investigations so we can kind of get a feel for what we're dealing with, because it's an amazing place and it deserves a lot of respect. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not scared. I went in and I sat in there alone for a good 20 minutes or so, just sitting and talking.
I mean, look, I've had a lot of stuff go on within the past year or two for me. And since I've been in the spot that I am in now, I don't have a lot of negative stuff over me anymore. So since that, and going into this home, when I got in there, the first time I got in there, and the caretaker was with us to begin with, showing us some certain things. The feeling that I got when I was in there was a lot of hide and go seek. Like, I'm here, but you gotta find me.
Yep.
It was kind of little kiddish, and I've never felt that. And there was always this one room that every time, and I don't know why, but every time I went in it and you saw my arms,
yes,
I was covered in goosebumps, and that never happened.
The only thing that really kind of unsettled me a bit was the fact that something was just tugging, not physical tugging, but just tugging at me, nagging at me, and started to really drain me. And I got so cold, and it was I don't know, it stayed at about 73 degrees. It fluctuated up and down a few degrees, but
yeah,
it stayed at that temperature. And I actually had a jacket that I had put on, and I was still cold.
Yeah, and I was in shorts and a shirt, and I was sweating.
I was shaking, like on the inside shaking. And a lot of that when energy is drawn, that's what happens. And there was a part of my arm on the right side, on my forearm, that would just not get warm. It was cold to the touch. It stayed cold the whole way home, the ride home, and I just couldn't get warm. And that's the only thing that I felt kind of, I was really good at first, and then all of a sudden I just kind of bottomed out. And that's the one thing that, I don't know. I feel like there are things that we do not know yet a lot.
Yeah,
and I feel like there are things there that we do not know about yet. I will put that out there.
So the good thing about this is we made some pretty cool friends, and he said, anytime you want, just come on back.
Yes.
But he said, whatever you do, he goes, you have to show my boss what you get. I said, oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Oh, absolutely.
Yay, I have water.
Well,
okay.
You better watch out for those
tainted keeters.
Those tainted keeters in the water, because
you get beaver trap.
You might need some beaver trap to catch those tainted beavers. Yeah. Tainted keeters. Tainted
keeters. Yes, sir. Tainted keeters.
Lord, help me. But yeah, so we will keep you abreast on the things that are happening at our nice little investigation spot and at all our other places, because I've been running around this whole country like a mad person trying to find evidence. I mean, I'm looking for structures, and I'm just going out of my damn mind because I'm not seeing anything. It's driving me crazy. But now we potentially have.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes.
So we've got that going on. Like, this is great, because in any given night, we can go over and do a little paranormal investigate and walk outside, look at the mountain across the street, and stop and listen to see if we hear a Bigfoot.
Oh, geez. Now Matt's getting technical. Tainted beaver keeters.
Tainted. Wow. That's I don't think my brain can't go there.
I hope they have a shot for that.
If they don't, they better.
Yeah, or a pill or something.
You think COVID's bad? Get you some tainted beaver keeter.
God damn it. I can't stand it.
Yes, we're also gonna take our new friend Ricky.
Yep.
Who's the caretaker. We're gonna take him around to do some Bigfoot hunting too.
Oh man, he's a good old boy. He's a good old boy.
He is something else. He is something else. And he knows places.
Yes, he does.
So. He's gonna be key in our further investigating, and I'm excited about it. I'm super excited.
So why don't we get on out of here and go see Ricky? Get on out of here. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
And then we'll come up with something, unless you guys have a suggestion.
Tainted keeters.
Is this what we're going to talk about next week?
I don't know.
Is that going to be our cryptid? The tainted keeter.
Listen. Why don't we next week talk about the Yeti? Because that's one guy we haven't talked about. And
Oh, my
we were just
God.
watching all that stuff on him.
Oh,
just the other day.
The Outlaw Pass.
Yeah, there's a lot of info on that. So, Shay, be looking out for a picture from me. It's
Yes,
going to be
the
the Yeti.
Yeti. The Russian Yeti. This is going to be good. I'm excited now, y'all.
Yep.
You know how it is. I'm sorry that we could not come up with better stuff for the Lochness Monster, but
Right.
there ain't none.
All right, everybody. Have a good night.
And remember, absence of proof is not proof of absence. Good night.